Hello everyone, I'm happy to be here again. Sorry that I'm not with my camera, but today we're gonna solve two common problems that you might face, and it's also help to practice JS a bit more. Both problems, palindrome and convert number to Romanic numbers, I took from freeCodeCamp, the famous website that you know, I assume, and both of them I did during my practicing JavaScript on this website. I want to finish the whole series regarding JavaScript and then start solving a task regarding algorithms. So it might helpful for some of you. Do not forget to subscribe and leave a comment if it's interesting or not for you, just to give some feedback from your side. So the first one is going to be palindrome, and Uh, for some of you who might don't know what is it, it's when the phrase you could read from each begin and the end of sentence, and it's gonna be the same, kind of like this one. This one is not palindrome. This one is palindrome because if you read it from the beginning, it's gonna be the same as you read it from the end of the sentence. So how to solve it? First of all, let's understand how to deal with it, because there might be some symbols which we don't need it, kind of like that. And the first thing that we need to do is to use regex. It's the easiest way for me to remove not needed symbols, and we need only numbers and letters to remove not needed symbols. It's gonna be the first part. Then we need to do a loop from the start to the middle of sentence. For example, we don't need to walk through each letter. We just start from here and compare the last one and move on and move on and compare both of them. And then condition that if some of the symbols, for example, first not equal to the last, then we already know that it's gonna be result false. If the letter not equal, then false. And just for information, in the internet you might find some better solution, but it's just my vision how I did it in first try without searching and looking around, just to trying to understand the algorithm for my own. So we need to have here a variable where we store the result true by default, and here we're gonna return it like this. Then we need to have a regex just to remove the symbols. So it ends with this G. Start with A, Z, big. Forget this small thing. This one also for us good small letters and numbers. That's all what we need. Another one step. Remove. Yeah, it's already there. How to remove it? We just create a new string which is gonna be equal to string replace, and replace it's not only allowing you to use, for example, if you want to replace spaces by empty symbol, it's also allowing you to use regex, as you can see here. So gonna use it here, and by this we're gonna have a new new string, you see, without any numbers here. Then what we need to do, I'm gonna use for loop, just easier for me to understand the logic with for. And here we need to how to actually go to the middle of the string. As you might know, the string it's also could be represented as array. So if you just do like this, oh, it's not possible to define it here. Okay, but I might show you a bit later. So to go to the middle, we need to use math floor to just round the number to the lower, and then we using our new string dot length divided by 2. In this case, we're gonna have the middle of it, then I++. And here we need to have a condition in which we gonna compare symbols. So we taking current symbol and just compare if it is not equal to the same symbol but from the end of string. For this we're gonna use string length minus I and minus 1, because you remember that length it's so in arrays we start from 0, but length it's kind of started from 1. So for this we need minus 1, and if it's not correct, then we just assign a result false. And here we could just print cancel log string. It's gonna be a new string, and then result here, result like this, just to be able to see what is actual result. Let's clear here, true, not palindrome, false, no, false, and never odd or even. And from both sides you could read it, and it's gonna be the same. So it's a small one, but just do not forget practicing some new tasks for you. It's not the most difficult one, but just basically to understand how to do it, it might help you in your daily job. Here we have another one. It's to convert Arab number to Roman numbers. It was more difficult for me to deal with it because the logic behind it a bit complex, I would say. And here I need to mention that we just convert numbers. Let me comment palindrome. We need to convert numbers which is positive and not more than 4 symbols. So positive and less than 5 symbols. The one thing. The solution for this, I was kind of trying to deal with it around an hour, I would say, probably something like that. So let's doing some comments here. First thing, how to understand that we need to loop through. We receive a number here, which could be something like that, and we need to do loop until number greater than 0 to convert each number. Then what we're gonna do, it's we need to understand what is the divider for our number. So for example, if it's 3000, then we need to use 1000. If it's 600, then for us it's gonna be 500 and 100. So we need to deal with it. So for this we need to find the divider for our number. And for me, with such comments, it's easier to think about algorithm. Then after that, we need to define the main significant number. It's about, for example, 3000. Then 3 is gonna be our main number, and that means that we need to repeat m letter 3 times. Something like that. And actually it's less than 5 symbols and less than 4000. Because we do not have anything in our table here. Then the next step, we need to have a final string which we're gonna return. So we need add converted number to the final result. And the last step is gonna be subtract number converted number from initial value. Why do we need to do? For example, if we receive this number, then we need on each step remove or subtract from this number what we already converted. So like that. So let's start from this. If number to string length more than 4 or our number less than 0 or number more than 4000, then we return no convert, something like that. Here I'm gonna use while because it's just easier in our case. So we're gonna do our calculations until number is greater than 0. And just to mention regarding convert table, so it's a basic numbers that we could use to convert our data, our number to Romanic symbols. You could Google it easily. So yeah. Here, how to find the divider. I came up with the idea that I'm gonna do a loop through each key in our convert table. If we're gonna use keys, return an array of our keys here. So for this, gonna use convert table, and just for each element here, in element we're gonna receive 900, 500, and etc, etc. And if number greater or equal to the element, then we need to remember this number. For this, we're gonna define here last biggest divider equal to 0. And here then we gonna do assign to last biggest divider current element. What is gonna be the next step is we need to define our main number. For this, we also define here and all of these should be in while, like this. For this, we're gonna assign to some variables main int. We need our number, which we have here, divide on our this element, and by this we receive the number which we could convert. So, and also we need to use floor for this, and number divide by last biggest divider, like this, and to the final result. So we need also to have here final converted string. Here we're gonna return it, convert it, and here gonna assign an actual value to it plus equal. We take in our convert table, then we using here last biggest divider to get the value which we want to calculate, and we need to repeat it some amount. For example, if our value is gonna be for 3, it's like this, then it means we grab this one and we need to repeat the symbols 3 times. And the last step that we need from our number, subtract what is it, main int, multiply it by last biggest divider, like this. And let's actually compare the result. So for 3 we have this, for this we have this. So it's pretty useful. If you want, I can drop this sandbox. Yeah, I definitely gonna drop it into the description of the video. So I'm not sure if it will be helpful for you, but before looking the video, if you want to practice some coding, just try to do it by your own. You know the task and what you need to do. You can Google about solutions for it, or maybe alter it for your own to understand it better. But for me, it was really helpful because I was trying to remember and remind for me how to do such things. So thank you everyone. Do not forget to subscribe and Happy New Year.